Today is the feast of the Holy Trinity. We celebrate the three persons in one God. Now, in approaching that central doctrine of the Christian tradition, we could emphasize the individuality of the three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Or we could emphasize community. God is a communion. The three persons are, in fact, our very clumsy, inadequate way of talking about relationship and relatedness. You and I are made in the image and likeness of this eternal, loving communion. Relatedness, relating, relationship is of the very essence of our humanity. To be is to be with. We are constituted in and through relationships. The individualism that is very much part of our culture and society in these times flies in the face of who and what we are, therefore. We cannot build thriving communities on the basis of individualism. You can build it on the basis of relationships. And we thrive as individuals when we thrive as a community. When our relationships are in order, in other words, or we're doing our best to give ourselves honestly, lovingly, in relationship. In 1975, Muhammad Ali visited Harvard University. When talking with a group of students, one of them said, "Ali, a poem, give us a poem." Muhammad Ali looked at him and said, "Me, we. Make of that what you will." Was it just a flippant put off, telling the student, "I'm not interested in giving you a poem"? Or was it something more profound? Put the verb to be in there. Me is we. I choose to believe that is what Muhammad Ali was saying. That to be is to be communal, is to care, is to be compassionate, is to be loving. That's part of what we are and who we are as creatures of God. Near the beginning of the 17th century, an English poet put it beautifully. No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod is washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy friends or of thine were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind. And therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. When we are involved in loving relationships, we don't so much build unity as discover it. It emerges from the depths of who and what we are. It enables unity and community to happen when our relationships are in good order. Today's feast turns to Matthew's Gospel, chapter 28, verses 16 through 20. And we hear the text, "Go out, baptize all peoples, in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit." In the light of the foregoing, what might we make of this command of Jesus? I think the command to baptize is more than a command to take children, or adults for that matter, and baptize them as in the sacrament of baptism. Or, put another way, it prompts us to understand the sacrament of baptism in a much more rich, dynamic way. I choose the latter. The Greek word baptizein, from which we get our word baptize, includes the notion of immersion. Well, what if we were to think of baptism, not so much as a noun as a verb, as a process, a lifelong process whereby we are immersed in the communion that we call God, eternal, infinite love, that it is the responsibility and the commitment of the Christian community when we baptize somebody to ensure that they have the opportunity to be immersed daily for the rest of their lives in the loving communion we call God. Here's a couple of questions. Is baptism an event that happened a long time ago and about which you virtually think nothing now? Or is baptism a process which is happening now, an immersion, an abiding in God's love, a being drawn by delight into the life of God today, tomorrow, the next day, every day? Or have our minds been so overtaken by the individualism of our culture that we're more interested in surviving as individuals, getting what we can, being secure as individuals? That is hardly the Christian vision. The Feast of the Holy Trinity is not just a celebration of the mystery of God, the wonder of God, the loving communion that God is. It's a celebration of humanity, what it means to be a human being, what it means to be you, what it means to be me, one immersed or being immersed in eternal love.